with a professional record of 17 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, 14 wins by knockout, Julio El Indio Coronel. And in the blue corner, wearing white trunks with red trim, his weight 107.5 pounds, from Phoenix, Arizona, with a professional record of 41 wins, only 2 losses, 26 big wins by knockout, the former WBC light flyweight champion and current IBF flyweight champion of the world, Michael Manitas de Piedra Carvajal.
Let's take a look at the AutoZone keys to victory.
Well, for Coronel, I think he's got to pick his spots and get what he can in early. Mix his attack. You can't beat Carbajal by being one-dimensional. Carbajal cannot have early lapses. He sometimes has that in his bout. Steady pressure is the answer for him. When he gets out of his rhythm, that's when he's got a problem.
Here are the rules as governed by the IBF. 3 judges score the fight. No standing 8. 3 knockdown rule not in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight. A fight cannot be saved by the bell. And we begin round number 1 of this scheduled 12-round IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. Now, when the ring announcer, Danny Valdivia, gave the record of Julio Coronel, he announced it at 17-9-1 with 14 knockouts. We have it 16-9-1 and 13 knockouts. There is a fight that we cannot account for, so we will go with 16-9-1 and 13 knockouts.
And you know, Coronel came in here as a relatively late replacement. Manuel Herrera was supposed to be in here against Carbajal, but he became the #1 contender in the WBC when Humberto Gonzalez retired, and he opted instead to look for a deal there.
And Coronel going right at Carbajal. Wow. Coronel is hit by a left, and down he goes. Carbajal has 4 first-round knockouts in his career.
6, 7, 8.
If you come right at Michael Carbajal, you've got problems. That's what Coronel did. Carbajal loves it. He has trouble only with boxers. People that stand in front of Michael Carbajal often go down.
Coronel has lost 4 of his professional fights by way of knockout. You know, we asked the boxers to give themselves grades, and Coronel, in the 8 categories that we use, one of them including chin, gave himself all A's, and it reminds me of our bout last week on ESPN2 where Jose Vita Ramos gave himself straight A's, and he was knocked out in round 1.
Regilio Tour took care of him. We hope that history doesn't repeat itself, but who knows?
And the better boxers are the ones that give themselves better ratings. For instance, Carbajal gave himself a C for footwork and a B for defense and an uppercut, and some A's, of course.
Yeah, I think they're even a little more realistic about their skill level. Coronel is right in front of Carbajal, fighting on the inside. He is a taller fighter with longer arms, and that's not necessarily suiting him. And also, Carbajal works very well on the inside.
In championship fights, Carbajal is 12-2 with 7 knockouts, 127 rounds. That averages 9.1 rounds a championship fight. First won the IBF title in 1990 with a 7th round knockout of Wongshai Kitakason.
Coronel's working on the inside but throwing very wide punches, leaving himself open up the middle. And that could spell disaster for him. We've already seen Carbajal impress him with his power by knocking him down with the left hook.
Very lazy type left from Coronel.
Ironically, though, Carvajal's not been that busy here in round 1.
Good straight right from Carbajal. Closing seconds of round 1. Michael Carbajal defending his IBF Junior Flyweight title on ESPN.
Michael Carbajal has KO'd 7 of his last 8 opponents. This is why. Look at the power in the left hook. I'm astonished, based upon that punch, that Coronel was able to get up and be at all effective in the round, and he still was.
Round number 2 underway for Carbajal. 4 career second-round knockouts. For Coronel, he has 4 as well. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from round 1.
Well, as I said, it's interesting. Carbajal, though he landed the big punch, wasn't that much better than Cornell in terms of punches landed. Wasn't even that busy. Threw 3 punches less than Cornell. Carbajal told us that he believes now he's a more patient boxer, picking his shots better, not wasting punches. But one of the charms of him was always how aggressive he was and how many punches he threw. So I hope that he doesn't completely abandon that. And of course, that's probably why he lost to Chiquita Gonzalez in the second and third fights. He was much less busy than he should have been.
Very wide punches from Cornell, who's 29 years of age. Now he looks to go to work, and he's being cautioned for a low blow by referee Sean Curtin.
Curtin really got in the flow of things there, although Cornell did land some punches low. Julio Cornell is coming out and doing some pretty good work here. Not everything landed, of course. Carbajal blocked a lot of those, but Carbajal content to lay in the ropes and accept some of those.
It took Cornell an extra day to get to Des Moines. His flight was late getting into Miami from Columbia. He had to spend the night in Miami before embarking on his way to Des Moines, Iowa.
And yet when we asked him about it, he said, no, not a problem. Maybe he's used to those kind of trips. Well, in this round, Cornell's doing all the work. Even though he's not landing everything, he is out-hustling Michael Carbajal. You know, that first round knockdown could be bad for Michael Carbajal. Oh, well, this one isn't bad.
Puts Cornell down. Wow.
Oh, boy.
He is going to be in trouble.
6, 7, 8, ¿cómo está? Paso atrás. Paso.
Mike Sean Curtin, Spanish, the referee.
Giving instructions in Spanish to Cornell. He was rocked with that right hand. Only a half minute left in this round.
And a right staggers him again. Michael Carbajal, a lackluster round 2, coming on strong. The bell will not save a boxer in any round under the IBF rules, and it looks like Julio Cornell will survive round 2. Will he make it through round 3? We'll answer that next.
You're ready to quit. Great.
Julio Cornell went down again in the last round, and it came courtesy instead of a left hook as the first knockdown was. It was a jab and a straight right hand by Carbajal that sent him down. I have to give Cornell a lot of credit. He has gotten up off of 2 huge knockdowns.
The only thing you should know about the IBF rules, 3 knockdowns in a round does not stop the fight. Of course, it's up to the referee's judgment as to whether a boxer can continue. There are the numbers in round 2.
Well, you see that, and the only reason Carbajal ended up getting ahead in the numbers was after he hurt Cornell. He was able to go to work on him. Up to that point, Cornell was winning the round. He was doing very well, still out-punching Carbajal in terms of numbers. But of course, those 2 big knockdowns have negated all the good work Cornell has done.
Carbajal has 4 third-round knockouts in history.
It's going to happen again, trust me. Cornell wide open. Carbajal just missing with a couple of counter punches. Now, you know, against a boxer of lesser quality, Cornell's busyness and the attack he's using would be effective. But there's the hook. Carbajal can land that counter left hook whenever he wants.
Cornell has been down 3 times. Once in the first round, twice in the second. And he's getting tagged with combinations from Carbajal.
Well, the battle plan is for Michael Carbajal, if he wins this, to get one more bout, and then they hope strawweight champ Ricardo Lopez will jump up to the 108-pound division, and that they can make a super fight with Carbajal and Lopez, and trust me, I'd pay money to see that.
And another left from Carbajal. Yeah, he'd only have to come up 3 pounds to meet Carbajal.
Yeah, that would be a terrific match, and there's talk that it is, in fact, a possibility. And if you haven't seen Ricardo Lopez fight, trust me, he is good.
And so is Michael Carbajal with 1 minute to go in round 3. Can we get a good read on Carbajal so far?
Well, you know, he's doing some of the things that people have been a little distressed with him doing lately. Standing there, letting guys throw lots of punches, looking for one bob. But it's working for him here against Cornell, and he is showing us some terrific counterpunching.
Carbajal, a silver medalist for the United States in the 1988 Seoul Olympics.
And I'll tell you what else is true of Carbajal, and I sometimes forget it when I'm announcing his fight. He is a slow starter. And that is really is traditional for him. And sometimes you can forget about that as you critique what he's doing.
That's bad news for Julio Coronel because he's already been knocked down 3 times. And we are just coming to the end of round number 3. Carbajal and Coronel, ESPN's championship boxing. Welcome back to the Knapp Center on the campus of Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. Bob Papa and Al Bernstein on ESPN's championship boxing. Michael Carbajal taking on Julio Coronel for Carbajal's IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. Coronel went down in round 1, down twice in round 2, managed to keep his feet in round 3 despite the fact, Al, that he was tagged.
Take a look at the punches through the 3rd round, and you see the punch number difference for Carbajal in terms of what's landed isn't huge, but 2 of those punches were huge. And Coronel's been very busy and tried very hard.
Al, your scorecard?
However, because both the 1st and 2nd round were 2-point rounds for Carbajal, and I gave him the 3rd, I've got him ahead 30-25. Never has one man worked so hard to get so little as Julio Coronel.
In round number 2, he had a pretty good round going, and then suddenly was knocked down twice.
And see, that's what I'd do if I was him. I'd use more movement. Carbajal does not like movement. To Michael Carbajal, movement is like kryptonite. He just can't deal with it.
But Coronel is so wide with that right hand. So that's why Carbajal has had so much success with that counter left.
Now, right there, when you're fighting Michael Carbajal is when you need to punch and then get away. Coronel didn't do that. That's why he took 3 or 4 more punches.
How about that shot to the ribs by Carbajal?
He is one of the best body punchers in any weight division and has been throughout his career. There's an example of it. Mechanically, from an offensive standpoint, nobody does things any better than Michael Carbajal. He was trained by Danny Carbajal.
Trained by brother Danny.
Right here.
That right hand from Carbajal. It's like batting practice.
Oh, good counter right hand. He's waiting to counter off what Coronel does. Although in this round, there you see the work on the inside. He's starting to become more aggressive, sensing he can get something done. And Coronel's wide punches having no impact.
Funny because you mentioned that Carbajal is a slow starter. And tonight he started with 3 knockdowns in the first 2 rounds.
And yet, excuse me, I'm going to say he was still a slow starter because most of what he did in between those knockdowns in the first 2 rounds wasn't that great. So he just was able to land the 2 really good shots. And now look at the way he's picking up the rhythm of this bout. Ironically, he's actually fighting better in the 4th round when he hasn't had a knockdown than the ones where he did get a knockdown.
That does not bode well for Julio Coronel. Round number 4 coming to an end. It's scheduled for 12. Carbajal and Coronel on ESPN. Welcome back to Des Moines, Iowa. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein. We get set for the start of round number 5. Michael Carbajal defending his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship against Julio Coronel. And it has been all Carbajal from the opening bell. Coming up after ESPN's Championship Boxing, be sure to join Rich Eisen and Bill Pito for the best show on television, ESPN Sports Center. They'll follow the pennant race and wild card races in both the American and National League. Day 1 of the President's Cup, something I watched all day today on ESPN. And Tiger Woods in action at the Quad City Classic Sports Center coming up after Championship Boxing.
Didn't they have a little rain delay today in the President's Cup?
Yes, they did. But it was great because I woke up at about 7 a.m. this morning, flipped on the TV, and there was golf, and it was on all day.
Your favorite?
Good start for Arnold Palmer. President Bush and Clinton were on hand.
Who can ask for more than that?
No.
And Jim Kelly hosting, our pal.
Gary Koch, boy, one of the best golf analysts going.
As we look at Michael Carbajal pick up the beat here against Coronel, you can feel that he's thinking to himself, now, if I step the pace up continually here, I can get this guy out of here. And he certainly doesn't want to risk a cut or anything else happening. But you can see why Coronel got this chance as a replacement for Herrera. He is a crafty guy who has some skills and obviously is tough.
He's putting his punches together a little bit more here in round 5.
He just does not punch with power, Bob.
Very slapping, wide. And that right hand, it's almost like a push.
You have to be able to push Michael Carbajal back a little bit, or you just won't be able to get the job done.
This is Coronel's first fight in the United States. It's not been pleasant. He was knocked down in round 1, twice in round 2. I think this is the kind of bout, Al, that Carbajal could get sloppy in, because it is quite easy.
Yeah, and in effect he was for the first couple rounds, I thought. And when a guy doesn't punch with too much power, you can just allow him to hit you. And that's bad for him to do as he gets ready to fight somebody like a Ricardo Lopez, who obviously punches with much more power. Good body work. But then Coronel comes back with his own punches to the body. At 28 years old, Michael Carbajal is a seasoned veteran, but still young enough to make another good run at big matches and lots of money.
Round number 5 coming to an end. This one is scheduled for 12 as Michael Carbajal defends his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. Hope you're enjoying it from Des Moines, Iowa. Carbajal and Coronel. More after this. Michael Carbajal answers the bell to start round number 6. He has dominated Julio Coronel through the first 5 rounds. And Al, when you take a look at this fight, it has been Carbajal scoring the knockdown in round 1, 2 more in round 2, and the power punching has been there.
Yeah, that's for sure. While Coronel has thrown lots of punches in the power punch category, Carbajal has done better. Obviously with a pretty huge edge there, and what's even more impressive is 2 of those sent his opponent to the canvas. You know, Carbajal went without the title from 1994 to 1996 for almost exactly 2 years, did not have a world title. And of course, before that, he had owned one for over 3 years. And he said to us, he said, you know, being without a title really felt bad. He said, it made me feel different. And he said, having it again means something. And he said, I want to hang on to it.
Well, Carbajal can do something tonight he has never done in his career, in his very impressive career. He's never recorded a 6th-round knockout. And that combination right there gets the attention of Coronel, who answers with a left of his own.
Julio Coronel has shown us lots of intestinal fortitude here, because he has been rocked repeatedly by Michael Carbajal and yet has hung in there. Coronel said his idol was Julio Cesar Chavez, and he's tried to pattern himself after him in terms of style. I'm sure many of the boxers from South America, that whole area, could say that about Chavez. Good right hand by Coronel, but it doesn't have any impact on Carbajal.
It's hard to imagine, but it almost looks like Coronel's punching power is only from his elbow down. Does that make sense? But the way he kind of just lays his punches out with a little twist.
Well, yeah, he's trying to pronate the punches, but he's not throwing them with his body, so he's throwing them mostly with his arms. And his form isn't that far off, but it's just enough off so that it's not giving him the benefit of a lot of power. There's Carbajal working so well on the inside. You know, Coronel is trained by Manuel Garcia, the father of the late Jimmy Garcia, who, of course, suffered fatal brain injuries in a bout with Gabriel Ruelas back in May of 1995.
Oh, down goes Coronel from the left. 3rd time in the fight he's been knocked down.
5, 6, 7, 8, ¿cómo está?
The bell will not save a boxer in any round. Referee Sean Curtin wants to see if he should let this continue so Carbajal can finish him off. Coronel doing a good job of holding. Final seconds of round number 6. Carbajal just pummeling Coronel.
Michael Carbajal has gotten it done with the left, the right, now again the left hook sends Coronel down. Julio Coronel keeps getting up for these knockdowns, and I mean getting up quickly.
Round number 7 is underway. Carbajal has 5 7th-round knockouts in his career, and Coronel has never recorded a knockout past the 6th round. In case you were wondering, but this has turned into batting practice.
You are a fountain of information, you know that? There are the numbers. Isn't it interesting? In a bout in which Michael Carbajal is totally dominating, has won every round, while he does have a lead, doesn't have a huge lead in terms of number of punches. And yet, we know he's way ahead, and we know those numbers are accurate, as they always are with CompuBox. It's just that the way those numbers have been spaced and with the knockdowns, Coronel has gotten the job done in certain spots.
Yeah, like in round 2, he really dominated most of the round, and then he got knocked down twice. Well, dominate is a
Well,
long term.
yeah, but
he
won it,
dictated the round.
dictated the round, and won it with the punches he was throwing. So certainly was ahead in the round. And it's ironic, in all those spots in between Carbajal, that left hand hurt him.
Yeah, that short left by
He's in
Carbajal
trouble.
hurt Coronel, and he's holding on for dear life.
And I'm going to tell you who's done an excellent job in this match is Sean Curtin, the referee. He has just been perfect in the places he's stepped in, the instructions he's given. He's done a superb job.
And he is fluent in Spanish, which is very important, dealing with a boxer like Coronel who does not speak English. Makes it a lot easier. Nothing gets lost in the translation.
I'm going to make perhaps what may sound like a strange statement. I hope that if Julio Coronel goes down again, he doesn't get it. Because this has the earmarks of a bout where over 12 rounds he could take a huge amount of punishment.
He has already. 1 minute to go in round 7.
And he leaves himself so open, does Coronel, that you get the feeling he could get whacked with something very, very big. Even bigger than the 3 punches that have knocked him down.
Well, Coronel's first trip to the United States has not been pleasant. The welcoming committee of Michael Carbajal has just teed off on him.
The combinations on the inside by Carbajal are a thing of beauty to watch. They are spectacular. And with power. At this weight, I don't think anybody really hits harder than Michael Carbajal.
Coronel is out again. He got hit with a right hand out. He got hit hard. His legs buckled. Round 7 coming to an end. What's keeping Julio Coronel up? Will Carbajal finish him in round 8? We'll find out. We begin round number 8. Julio Coronel has been knocked down 4 times in this fight. Once in round 1, twice in round 2, once in round 6. He has been dominated by Michael Carbajal as Carbajal is defending his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. Bob Papa along with Al Bernstein from Des Moines, Iowa. Hope you're enjoying it. Earlier, Rocky Gannon stabbed Andrew White to win the IBA Light Heavyweight Championship. And Al, let's take a look at the numbers in round 7.
Well, it was a round in which Carbajal started to dominate in terms of numbers of punches thrown. And what's even deceiving about those figures is, of those 33, Carbajal landed some huge shots in there.
And Al, your scorecard?
Well, I have Carbajal winning by huge margins. He keeps getting 2-point rounds for all these knockdowns. In one round in which he... Oh, there goes Coronel.
And that's it. Sean Curtin stops it.
That is so appropriate by Sean Curtin. And even the corner people for Coronel came in immediately. No sense in having this man take any more punishment. For Michael Carbajal, the kind of a performance he was so seeking. Now, Manuel Herrera probably was a little better than Julio Coronel, the original opponent he was going to have, but clearly Coronel was no stiff. He was a tough guy who had some ability, just did not have a lot of punching power, and Carbajal was too much for him.
Michael Carbajal gets his 27th career knockout, the second time he has stopped an opponent in round number 8. For Julio Coronel, his 5th knockout loss. And Michael Carbajal, Manitas de Piedra, the Little Hands of Stone, defends his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship.
Let's go. Mika, Michelangelo, Maikito, Erica.
That was
Daniela,
Ruben Castillo just behind him there. Great champion, friend of Michael's.
And those names he's yelling out, Erica, Michelangelo, Daniela, Michael Jr., and Micaela are his 5 children back home in Phoenix watching.
Sweetwater, what's up?
Michael is Quite popular in Phoenix, Arizona. I remember we
Hey,
did a
Bobby,
special on him here on
away in
ESPN
Vietnam.
some years ago. We had a chance to visit his neighborhood, be with he and his friends and his family, and it's very genuine, the feeling that the people there have for him. He still lives in the neighborhood where he grew up.
Yeah, there is Julio Coronel, his first fight in the United States, an ugly one, as he is pounded from pillar to post, being stopped in round 8. Now let's take a look at just some of the action, how dominant Carbajal was.
Well, he put his punches together as well as you can do. There's the straight right hand that sent him down for the last knockdown. That was when Sean Curtin appropriately stepped in and said, that's enough.
All right, we are going to get the official time of the stoppage as Michael Carbajal defends his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. And we are waiting for our ring announcer, Danny Valdivia.
Referee Sean Curtin stops the bout in 52 seconds of the 8th round. The winner by a technical knockout and still IBF Flyweight Champion of the world, Michael Manitas de Piedra Carbajal.
Michael Carbajal improves to 42-2. His 27th career knockout. He retains his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship, stopping Julio Coronel in round number 8. When we come back, Al Bernstein will climb between the ropes. We'll talk with Carbajal about tonight's fight and what's next on the plate on ESPN. Carbajal, an impressive performance tonight. The Little Hands of Stone is standing by with Al.
Well, thank you, Bob. I'll tell you what, Michael, it's been a little while since you and I have done this in the ring, but it always seems like the result is the same. You're always the winner.
Yeah, well, I train very hard, and I go out and do my best, and I'm excited. I'm back with Top Rank, and I'm excited about it, and I just want to say I love all my kids back home, and it's all for you guys.
Well, you did a great job here tonight. Coronel came in as a replacement. He was a very tough guy. Getting him out of there was not easy.
No, it wasn't at all. He took a good shot, and he was a tough fighter, and I always expect that. You can't look at the way the records are or nothing, because it's deceiving. And there's tough fighters all over the world that are junior flyweights.
Well, you're in about the toughest division in the world. I've said that many times. These guys come up, people don't know about them, and they're good. Let's take a look at how the bout ended. You hit him with a very big right hand here. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Well, I started working the body after I knew I wasn't going to put him out with one shot, and I think I got a little anxious throwing one shot at a time, and I caught him over with that right hand. Danny kept telling me, you're going to catch him with that right hand, and I finally did.
All right, before we get to the future of possible match with Ricardo Lopez, let's bring Danny Carbajal. Well, quickly then, let's tell us, Danny, what about the possibility of Ricardo Lopez as an opponent for Michael in the near future?
Well, it's in the process, and hopefully in the spring of '97. This is a long match that Michael's been waiting for. It's the kind of fight that makes him like, hey, look, I'm next. Come on. Let's take it on.
Well, let's see if we can get it. Congratulations to you, Michael Carbajal. Let's go back to Bob at ringside.
All right, Al. Michael will celebrate his 29th birthday next week. He successfully defends his IBF Junior Flyweight Championship. More boxing to come after this timeout.